Aloha friends, and welcome back to the kitchen. I couldn't be more excited to be here because today I'm showing how to make Carnivore Twix bars. Unbelievable. I used my Carnivore shortbread crust for the bottom. We got a delicious caramel layer in the middle, chocolate on the top. You're going to want to try this. This was always Craig's favorite treat when he was a kid, so maybe he'll do the taste test with us. All right, my friends, to make the delicious Twix bars, you're going to want something nearby, like a pie pan like this. I've made two batches today, and they're in nice casserole dishes. I'll show you those later. But I want to get this into the freezer because you want it to be completely chilled before you put that caramel on, before you put that chocolate layer on. But these are going to be Craig's favorite, so we're going to do a big batch for him. We're going to get this onto a nice high heat, and we're going to brown 1 cup of butter. And I suggest using salted butter. It browns way better than unsalted butter, and adding salt to desserts is always a good idea. It balances the sweetness out, and you can use less sweetener because it's a flavor enhancer. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to bring you closer so you can watch how to brown butter. Okay friends, brown butter tastes great on everything. It tastes great on fish. It tastes great with my carnivore steak sauce. I do a lot of sauces with brown butter because it adds a really delicious caramely flavor without any sugar, but it's really delicious. So I have it on a very high heat, and you can hear now that it's pretty sizzly and loud. So when I make brown butter, I can walk away from it and do other things and know exactly when I need to stir it. But if you're a new timer, I suggest to stay right near it because it can quickly turn into black butter, which to me tastes like burnt butter. Even though it is a French delicacy, I don't think is very good. And stir once in a while to get any brown pieces that are coming on the outsides. But it's going to froth up. You'll see it froth up high, and that's when the brown flecks are starting to appear. And if you want to make these dairy-free, you can. No, you can't because you need milk powder. But if you ever are using a recipe like, oh, it calls for brown butter, can I use coconut oil? No, that's not going to brown like this. So it doesn't have like the milk solids that you're looking for. But yeah, here it's now nice and loud, and then it's going to get quiet. And we're going to do this also to make the caramel sauce, which I'll show you once this base, the cookie part, is in the freezer. So the base we're using is my carnivore shortbread. And the carnivore shortbread can just be 3 ingredients, but we're going to add some brown allulose to it and a little stevia glycerite, which is optional, but this is a dessert, so I'm not afraid of using allulose. So you see it frothing up? It's getting quieter. The brown flecks are happening now. You can see it's getting a little bit darker. This is when you want to stir it. There we go. Now I'm going to turn this heat off because it'll continue to brown. With the hot pan, it'll just keep browning. Now I'm going to back you up. I'll keep on stirring it once in a while. Twix is always Craig's favorite, so maybe he'll do our taste test for us. Now what we're going to add here is 1 cup of milk powder. This is the whole milk powder that I'm using. I have a giant bag. And I'm going to add that right to it. And then I'm also going to add, you can choose vanilla equip or chocolate equip. You want a chocolate base, I think that'd be a good idea. This is their new bag. This is their old bag. But that's what I have for vanilla. So we're going to do 1.5 scoops of that. 1.5. It adds a nice chewy texture. And Equip is so generous. If you use code Maria, this is the biggest discount you're going to get. 20% off. All the other influencers only give you 15%. I get 20% for you because we just love them so darn much. So we're going to just whisk this away, and then we're going to add some brown allulose. This is the brown allulose I use. It works great for making like a rib rub if you do that. And we're going to add that right to the pan, and a little stevia glycerite. Okay, nice rounding out the sweetness. I wish I had a pot holder because this can get hot. Yeah, I even pack equip when I travel. I do, because you never know when you're going to get stuck on a plane. And I do a lot of 36-hour flying times that just get pretty long, and I'm not trying to lose any weight. I'm trying to maybe put some more muscle on. And so that was very helpful to have. Okay, so you're going to have like this mixture like this, nice and thick. Just want to make sure it's evenly mixed. And then this is nice because you don't have to bake it. You don't have to turn the oven on whatsoever. I do need a spatula though, and we're going to place that into a pie pan that I have sitting nearby. So I'm going to try to, is this hot? Yeah, that's hot. Move this aside. There's so much stuff sitting out here. And we're going to place that right on in here. And then we're going to put this in the freezer while we get that caramel sauce made. I almost thought about doing a double batch, but I already have one in the freezer. It gets a lot doing recipes and stuff, not just testing them, but also I do one for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and then YouTube, just because it's fun. Kind of make it nice and flat. And you could actually make Kit Kat bars by rolling these into sections. We should maybe do that. And then rolling them in chocolate, but it is easier to make a bar like this, so it'll be fine. Into the freezer it goes. All right, now to make the caramel sauce, I'm going to turn this on. Start on high. You're going to want a stick of butter. You're going to want a half a cup of cream and a half a cup of, I'm using brown allulose, but you could use regular powdered allulose is fine. So we're going to brown this again. And I'd love to know, what's your favorite candy bar? I don't know, I got kind of like away from that. I don't really crave, especially chocolate anymore. I used to like chocolate as a kid, but did you know that craving chocolate is usually a magnesium deficiency? It's true. So we're gonna brown this up, and then we're gonna add our other ingredients. All right, we're getting to the end of browning the butter. I probably do this every day, creating new recipes and stuff. I did a lava cake with brown butter, a brown butter lava cake. That was really good. That recipe will be coming out. It's hard because I do things ahead of time because I like to enjoy Hawaii and not have to work too much, especially during whale season. All right, I'm gonna turn that off. Let it keep browning. And you can push as deep as you want to. That's not super deep, but that's okay. We're gonna add our brown allulose, and we're gonna add half a cup of heavy cream. Now my heavy cream was frozen, that's why it's a little chunky, but it's still gonna work in this. I'm not too concerned. Mix this up, and you have caramel sauce. I'm gonna add a little stevia glycerite just because allulose. I might heat this a bit just to kind of melt that allulose. Since the recipe is not going to be baked, a little stevia glycerite to round out the sweetness. And once it's still not emulsified quite yet, so we'll keep that. And then this is going to go in the fridge so it's not super hot when you're putting it over the chilled bars. And then I'm going to show you two different ways to make the chocolate coating. There, it's now starting to bubble. It's kind of melting that powdered or that brown allulose. You turn this off now, and then set that in the fridge. I'll catch you back in a little bit. Okay, friends, I'm going to show you how to do it with the unsweetened baking chocolate because that good chocolate can be very temperamental when you heat it. So I have this pot that has heavy cream that's still simmering in there with all my sweeteners, and I'm going to add my unsweetened baking chocolate. And you don't need to heat it again, but we are going to stir it. Where'd I put that fork? And then you just stir it until you have chocolate. Just let it sit for a little bit, and you're going to have a chocolate coating. Now we have our finished little shortbread crust here. I'm going to get this out of the way. And we are going to top it with our caramel sauce that was in the fridge. And some of it got cooler than others. I stirred it and the edges are cooler, but overall it's all going to cool together. So that's why you see some chunks. It's not a deal at all. If it is a big deal to you, you can put it in a little food processor and blend it. But we're going to do that, and we're going to place this back in the freezer before we put that chocolate sauce on there, because yeah, this is the same thing. It's just chunks. It doesn't look very pretty, but it's going to taste pretty. I don't really care. In the freezer, otherwise the chocolate will just swirl into this. Okay, friends, now for the chocolate coating, I'm using the good chocolate, milk chocolate, because I like that better than this, but you can make this into milk chocolate. This unsweetened baking chocolate, you can get that at any store. This is really good though too. Check it out. If you want to do it with the unsweetened baking chocolate, check out the recipe in the link below on how to do that. But if you do the good chocolate, I have 2 bars chopped fine and 3 tablespoons of salted butter that just came out of the microwave, super hot. You can do it over the stovetop if you want to. And I'm going to place all of the chocolate into there and then stir it up. Now it might not get totally melted. It didn't the last few times, but I just heat it for maybe another 15 seconds and stir, stir, stir. Because if you put this in the microwave like this, it's probably just like the chocolate. It's probably going to separate, and chocolate can be very temperamental. So just stir it. The bowl is nice and warm, so it might melt the chocolate. If it doesn't, just pop that again in the microwave for 15 seconds maybe, and then stir again, and it should be totally melted. There. Yeah, if you use the unsweetened baking chocolate, you're going to use some cream and other things, sweetener, to make basically a chocolate coating. But let's get that cookie out of the freezer and make our Twix. All right, friends, we have this nice warm chocolate layer to go over the completely cool caramel layer. And I'm just going to put that over the top here. And then you could either put it in the fridge to set or in the freezer. Just want to do a nice layer here like that. And again, the unsweetened baking chocolate is a little less temperamental. Must be something in the good chocolate. So you can see this is the unsweetened baking chocolate, totally homemade. This one is the good chocolate. So 2 different versions, but we're gonna set this and have Kai's taste test.
Okay.
It must be football Saturday because you all got your football gear on. Oh, it's football Sunday, Packers. Sunday. But were you watching? Did the Badgers win yesterday?
No.
No, I'm sorry, bummer. All right, guys, we have a Twix bar for you, a Carnivore Twix bar. Kai, Craig, give us a rating 1 through 10. And everybody remember, Kai saves 10s for Wagyu steak. Craig might save it for Koiso sushi.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of warm now because it's been sitting out for a bit.
That's really good. That's like a Twix.
It's like a Twix, right?
Yeah.
Just
I'd
like
give that a 9.5, maybe 9.8
9.8
for a dessert.
Nice, nice.
I'd give it like a 8.5.
8.5. Okay, not so bad. People, we would love for you to make this and give us your rating in the comments below, 1 through 10. What do you want to say?
So good.
So good.
Can't wait till it sits in the fridge and that caramel sets up. It'll be just like a Twix.
I like it kind of melty.
It's very good.
Kai, what do you want to tell people?
Cook with your kids.
Cook with your kids. Mahalo, everybody. When I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with PCOS, acid reflux, depression, and IBS. Instead of taking those prescription drugs, I decided to change my life with food. Yes, food healed me, and it's healed so many of my clients over the past 20 years of working with people. If you are interested in transforming your life, check out KetoMaria.com. I'd be honored to help you.